Assalamu alaikum, I'm Mahmoud Sameh, grade 10C, and inshallah in this video I'll be explaining the performance task criterion B chemistry. This time the performance task is criterion B, not criterion C, as the one that we took before in this trimester. So the main difference is that criterion C is collecting data from an experiment that has already happened. However, criterion B is doing the experiment itself, and as you can see, you should write the procedures, materials used, and the safety precautions during the experiment. So first of all, we start by defining the idea of the performance test. The question is, how does the atomic mass of a halogen affects its boiling point? So halogens are as known, halogens are the group 17 in the periodic table. They are non-metals. They're found exactly before the noble gases. They start the first element in it is the fluorine. I think so. Yes, it's the fluorine. All what you need to get in this performance task is how does the atomic mass of halogen affect the boiling point. So what happens to the boiling point of the halogen if we increase or decrease its atomic mass? So basically, if we change it from another halogen to to other one, basically it's going down the periodic table, going downward the periodic table will increase the atomic mass. So what happens? I guess I have a periodic table here. Let me open it just a second. So there is the periodic table. These this row is the halogens. So basically, when we go downward, the atomic mass of the elements increases, as you noticed, as we took in the periodic trends that the atomic mass increases, or we took the atomic radius increases, which means that more electrons and protons are added, so the atomic mass increases as well with the atomic radius. The question again, what happens to the boiling point of the halogens when we increase the boiling point or decrease? So you should search about that. You should design an experiment, writing the procedures of what is the experiment that should be done to answer these questions. It's easy. If you wrote this question on Google, the answer will appear. However, you need more details and to understand more what's the van der Waals and all of these. There are some vocab and some other new stuff that you need to know to answer this question that you will need in your hypothesis and defining the problem. So the independent variable, you write the variable that you change, which in this case it's so clear in this question. The independent variable again is the element that you change. What do you change? And the dependent variable is what is changed according to what you changed in the independent variable. So I changed one element which is the dependent variable. The effect of it is the dependent variable. Controlled variable is the elements that need to stay the same while doing the experiment. So that's it. You should choose some elements to stay the same. So you only change one element. So when any difference happen, you know that this element is the cause for this effect. I hope that my words are clear. They are a little bit complicated, but I think they are clear. Because independent and dependent and control variable are things that we took from grade 5, I think, or something like that. So the data range is basically how many times are you going to repeat your experiment, or how many trials are you going to repeat your experiment, and taking an average of it to have because if any errors happened in the middle or something, that the average will eliminate these errors. And the dependent variable, how will I measure this? So how are you going to measure the dependent variable? Let me say it's the boiling point. The boiling point is the dependent variable. So how will you measure this the boiling point. So how will I make sure that these stay the same? You will just see each controlled variable that see each variable that you write here, and say here how will you make it the same. How will you make it constant? So the next step is to define the problem. What actually really helped me in writing in defining the problem is this checklist. Yes, this I covered each point of these, which resulted in a paragraph. I didn't actually expect that. I thought at first that the defining the problem is just writing this sentence, but it wasn't. So it should include if this experiment is measurable aslan or not, and what are the units that will be that you will measure with in our experiment. I think you will measure the boiling point by a timer, I think, and that's what I expect. But if you have any other units, you may write it. You're free to do it. Then the second important point is, yes, it has independent and independent variable. You should include here the dependent and the independent variable, and a short explanation of the problem. So in defining the problem, there is a really important aspect, which is the real life connection. It's written in a note over here. That shows its importance, yani. So you basically search for how are halogens used in real life, or a use for halogen in real life, and you say how will it benefit us if we knew the boiling point of the halogen. So, for example, Mr. Amr gave an example in the class. If we used the halogen, we don't use the halogen, or مثلا any liquid, any liquid in cooling, so its boiling point shouldn't be too close or too low. So the boiling point of it should be high, so it can stay cool as long as possible or forever. The next step is to write the hypothesis. So your hypothesis should be in that format. If, then, because, the famous format of the hypothesis. If I increased or decreased the independent variable, then the dependent variable will increase or decrease because, and you should write the explanation that you got from Google. After that, the procedures. Procedures are mainly the steps of the experiment. If you noticed, actually, in criterion C templates, there are steps that are written in the first, the steps that you use in making the simulation. These are the procedures. You should write something the same as it or like it in this experiment. So you will write the exact steps in details. So, for example, you will say that for example, if you will use a tube or something, you will say that you get a tube, then you put the halogens, then you heated them, and you waited for the boiling point, and you measure the time. Yani, whatever the procedure is, it should be طبعا much more detailed than what I said. However, that's the main points that should be included in your procedures. And the materials are just things that you have used, the instrument that you have used in your procedures. They also have to be detailed. If you used a paper and pencil, you should write that you have used a paper and pencil to record your data, for example. So please don't forget to be detailed in both these points. Safety precautions. You got a lot of safety precautions that you should take in doing this experiment, as you're dealing with atoms, heat and temperature, high temperature, boiling point. Boiling point is, يعني, the word itself is scary. أصلا, يعني, You should wear whatever بقى يعني wear gloves, wear coat, wear glasses, whatever. But I think that the safety precautions shouldn't be less than مثلا 4 points. I think because this experiment is very dangerous أصلا. Not very dangerous, but it has a lot of risks. Yeah. So yes, I think that's it. This is our chemistry performance task. It's not very complicated. I recommend you read this, the concern criteria B. I recommend you read these points. They are very important concerning the submissions and stuff like this. And that's it. As always, read the criteria. It's very helpful. Read this points. They are also they help me so much in answering my in solving my criterion B performance task. And that's it. Thank you for watching.